The lesson today is John chapter 15, verses 12 to 27. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. Greater love has no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. You are my friends, if you do what I command you. No longer do I call you servants, for the servant does not know what his master is doing. But I have called you friends, for all that I have heard from my Father I have made known to you. You did not choose me, but I chose you, and appointed you so that you should go and bear fruit, and that your fruit should abide, so that whatever you ask the Father in my name, he may give to you. This I command you, to love one another. If the world hates you, know that it has hated me before it hated you. If you were of the world would love its own. But because you are not of the world, but I chose you out of the world, therefore the world hates you. Remember the word that I said to you, a servant is not greater than his master. If they persecuted me, they will persecute you. If they kept my word, they will keep yours also. But all this they will do to you on my account, because they do not know him who sent me. If I had not come and spoken to them, they would not have sin, but now they have no excuse for their sin. He who hates me hates my Father also. If I had not done among them the works which no one else did, they would not have sin. But now they've seen and hated both me and my Father. It is to fulfill the word that is spoken in their law. They hated me without a cause. But when the Counselor comes, whom I shall send to you from the Father, even the Spirit of truth, who proceeds from the Father, he will bear witness to me. And you also are witnesses, because you've been with me from the beginning. Well, we notice, first of all, I think, that Jesus does not give a new set of commandments. He commands only one thing, to love one another as he has loved them. This is not a new teaching, it's an intensification of the traditional Jewish teaching, since the love that Jesus has shown his disciples, his friends, is hyperbolic. Also, the verse shows that Christianity turns not only on God loving us, but also on Christians loving one another. Today, some people find it odd, even peculiar, to be commanded to love. We think of love as something that cannot be commanded, that must originally arise in each of us and then be freely given. But Jesus is not talking about erotic love, which turns on a natural attraction, but on spiritual love, which turns on doing things to which we're not naturally drawn. Christian love involves an overcoming of natural reserve, even distaste, with respect to the other person. The commandment, or maybe mandate here, is not an arbitrary imposition of divine will. It's a call fully to trust Jesus, and that's why I call it a mandate, the mandate to love. One cannot command eros, erotic love, or philia, friendship, but agape has to be commanded, has to be given as something which is mandated, because it is not a natural mode of love. Jesus indicates the nature of his love for his disciples and everyone else. He will die in order to bear the sins of the whole world. And this is the mark of his love, which, as I say, is not natural. That's not how we're born to love. We have to be converted, reborn in the Spirit for that to happen. He also gives the basis of the intensification of the command to love. What is required is love which values the other person over and above oneself, over one's own concerns, including one's investment in one's own life. This is a hyperbolic love to which Christians are called. Jesus keeps saying to his disciples that he has manifested the truth of the Father to them, and they've been able to receive the manifestation because of their love of Jesus. So the disciples are no longer slaves or servants, but friends of Jesus. He emphasizes that he chose the disciples. They did not choose him. So we also do not choose Jesus of our own volition. We are chosen by him, and we merely respond. When Jesus says, "If the world hates you, know that it has hated me before it hates you," the "if" here, in the English translation, is not a supposition. It has the force of because. The Christians in John's community were being persecuted by the authorities of the synagogue. So, we get a strong sense of the Johannine community being persecuted. John thus sets Jesus against the world. And the world here is the site of rejection, sin, and injustice, and it will be judged by God. So world is a social, indeed spiritual web of relations, and it's not a geographical place. It's not the planet Earth. It's a social world. There is a strong implicit contrast between world and kingdom. The world is the site of secular power, glamour, of the Pax Romana, the Imperium Mundi, and quid pro quo. The kingdom, rather, is that for which we must leave the world. The kingdom is breaking into the world now with Jesus' ministry, and his sacrificial death will bring it about. He will be the firstborn of the kingdom on the Easter Sunday. The word came and was received by some and rejected by many. This is the same story we've been told since the first chapter of John. And if this is the same with Jesus, this is what's happened with Jesus, it will surely be the same for the rest of us too. Again, John the Evangelist emphasizes the utter intimacy of Jesus and the Father. Not to know Jesus is not to know the Father, and vice versa. The rejection of Jesus by the Sanhedrin, among other people, has been a new sin added to their lot. The main point of the Gospel of John, the intimacy of the Father and the Son, is given in negative. He who hates me hates my Father also. We've seen that to love Jesus is to love the Father. Now we see that to hate Jesus is in effect to hate the Father, to hate Yahweh. Jesus talks about the deeds which he's done in his ministry, and in particular we'll probably think of the curing of the man born blind, which in John's Gospel precipitates the persecution and execution of Jesus. He says that they hated me without a cause. And when he says that, he's quoting from Psalm 35:19. And the Greek for without a cause here means as a gift. But of course the word is used negatively, so that the hatred comes without a valid reason, a kind of negative gift. If the Jews really knew the scriptures, Jesus thinks, they would be able to see that their actions toward Jesus condemn them. This is the farewell discourse, which we've been reading for the last couple of weeks. And part of the farewell discourse is that Jesus announces the coming of the Paraclete, the Comforter, the Counselor, the Holy Spirit, who proceeds from the Father. Later, the Church will point out that the Holy Spirit also proceeds from the Son. And this is one of the things which separates dogmatically the Orthodox Church and the Catholic Church. Catholics believe that the Holy Spirit processes from the Father and the Son, and the Orthodox believe in the original version of the Creed of 381 that the Holy Spirit proceeds simply from the Father. The Gospel of John is redolent with talk about the need for witnesses. And Jesus ends this passage by saying, "You also are witnesses because you've been with me from the beginning." Jesus chose his disciples at the start of his public ministry. However, more than this is suggested. The disciples have been chosen by Jesus from before the beginning of the world.